Welcome to Be Now for Tuesday, October the 18th. My name is Don McLeod, and I am joined by Fazal Khan as usual. Faz, how you doing today?
I'm good, Don. It's a really busy week. This time next week, we will have a brand new council.
We will have a brand new council and councillors.
Do we call female councillors as well?
I think so.
Council women? No, it's just councillors? Okay.
Council, if it was councilmen, it would be councilmen and women, but they're councillors.
Councillors, okay. All right, so we got a great show today, Don. We have a guest that I've been looking forward to speaking with from, I'm going to say years. That's Councillor Michael Palleschi. We had him on the promo here. And we'll set it up before we get to him. He's supposed to come on in about 10 minutes. So we're, as you know, if you've driven down here, Ontario, they are building an LRT. And if you're new to Brampton or you haven't been paying attention, that LRT is going to stop on the south side of Steeles. That in itself is an issue because people are going to have to cross Steeles to get to the Gateway Terminal. But besides that, we had the opportunity as a city to have that LRT go all the way to the downtown GO train station. And a vote was held in 2015. And Michael Palleschi was the deciding vote, and that's why we label it the decider. He appeared to be a swing vote. Could go yes, could go no, because there's 5 people against and 5 people for, including at the time Mayor Linda Jeffrey. And his vote made it go to the no side. And then the final vote actually went 7-5 because Mayor Jeffrey accidentally voted no, but it was a done deal anyway. So I don't think Michael, regional councillor in Ward 2, Michael Palleschi, has ever publicly explained that vote. So this is our opportunity to understand why he voted that way. And I also want to know if he would vote the same way today. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to go through the races, right?
Yeah, it's down to the wire. There's some races that basically we want to take a look at on the 24th. It'll be interesting. So the first one up that we're going to talk about, what are we talking? 2-6? 1-5. Let's go 1-5. Okay, well, 1-5, Rowena Santos seems to be the leader on that one. I don't see.
Yeah, and we're gonna just assume these races. It's hard to unseat an incumbent. So when the incumbent is there,
and we're not endorsing anybody. We're just going through the scenario the way we see it. So
everybody who's running against an incumbent knows it's a hard thing to unseat.
Yeah, you can vote for whoever you want, but we're not endorsing anybody. We're just taking a look at the races and where we see and how we see the races folding out. I see Rowena Santos repeating there for sure. That's not a problem. Paul Vicente, I don't see any kind of race in that regards, but
yeah. There we go. 2-6. So this is an open one. There's no incumbent because
2-6. There's no incumbent. I mean, Navjeet Kaur Barar.
So yeah, this was Doug Williams' old seat.
Yep.
And his regional councillor colleague was Michael Palleschi. So maybe I wonder if should we ask Michael if he has a preferred candidate?
I think we can ask him. I don't know if he'd, maybe he'd, plead the fifth on that one. But I've seen, a lot of stuff. Bar out there doing what she's doing. She ran for the NDP, I think, last time, right?
Yeah, I think she's running a strong campaign. So again, vote for who you want to vote, but check all these people out.
Yeah.
Next on the list is the regional council for 2-6.
Michael Palleschi, gonna be hard to unseat him. I don't see anybody challenging him, but
Ward 3 and 4 city councilors. So this is the one that Jeff Bowman just retired from.
Yeah, I see Dennis Keenan is running a campaign. He's doing a lot of good stuff out there. He's the one that's basically, he says he's knocking on a hell of a lot of doors. So that could be one coming down. I think Dennis is probably, John Sanderson trying to make a comeback,
So we had Dennis on
last 8 years. Yeah, we had Dennis on last week. Impressed with Dennis. I like Dennis.
Yeah. So everybody else, I'm not really sure where they're at in this race. So it's definitely between Dennis and John, the old guard versus the new youthful.
Yeah, I haven't seen any policy statement out of John. It's like, what? It's like I don't know. It's
and in this case, we're saying we're not being biased here, but like John is so linked with Elaine Moore, and as everybody knows, I do not like Elaine Moore's grasp on City Hall and in certain media in the city.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I would say anybody but John Sanderson, just to let you know.
Yeah. And, Justin, we're going to put your comment here. We'll put anybody's comments, as long as we're picking and choosing here, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Next here. Regional councillor again, strong incumbent.
Yeah. Going to be hard to unseat Martin Medeiros, who's got, I don't think you have Rupee Man Dillon.
No, that's 7-8. That's 7-8.
7-8? Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Martin Medeiros is running again. Yeah. Amik Singh. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So Amik, I like him. I just don't think he
I don't think he's running a strong campaign, Amik, and it's like, you know what?
He should have run on healthcare because he's a nurse and he did all this advocacy before. And, we've had conversation with him saying, why aren't you doing that? And, there's a whole big discussion this week with him about a race car track. So
yeah, I kind of mentioned that to him, that was not a good idea to do something like that. There's enough freight tracks within the area of Brampton right now that you could go to. So I think Martin is a strong city council, Ward 7 and 8. This is a wide open field. This is
the one where Charmin Williams was, and then she ran for the provincial, and now she's there.
Yeah, I think Donna Williams is her sister. I don't know if like Jazz Karen Sandhu, he's running a very strong campaign.
Yeah, he's a seasoned politician. No, I wouldn't say politician. He campaign organizer. So he's been involved with a lot of kind of high level people in the city.
Well, you and I know Jazz Karen. We ran into him when basically he was on Linda Jeffrey's staff. I always liked Jazz Karen. He was always straight up.
He was an executive on the World Sick Organization.
Yeah, very intelligent. And it's like I see some of these people listed here. Belgi Bawa, the guy ran for the with Mad Max Bernier's party, and then he ran somewhere else, and now he's running
I think he was a liberal, then he switched over, and
then he went to Mad Max and is it's like, come on, guys, someone like that is transparent. You're just trying to get a paycheck. Sorry, but
to me, this one is wide open.
I think Jess Karen has got a little bit of Donna Williams. That's the Charmaine Williams' sister. So I'm like, I don't know how much of a choice that is. So
yeah, so Justin thinks Jess Karen has in the bag. The only issue with saying that is, we want people to come out and vote. So this one is wide open. Whoever gets the most votes, and I don't think it'll have to be a lot of votes because it'll be split everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, I hate flip-flop candidates as well. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next. What do we got there? Regional councillor. Wow, Pat Fortini. Yeah, he's the incumbent on that one. Rupee Man Singh Dillon, he's running a campaign. So is Mike Dancy.
Mike, I think
the other ones I haven't seen too much of. I haven't seen any social media from all those other four on the right hand side.
Cynthia, I think we did. So I've done a number of videos, I think with Michael and Cynthia, that we'll talk about on Thursday. So we're having another show on Thursday, and we're going to have those videos ready for them on that day. Because they asked us to do their videos, and on social media, people were saying, "Well, how come we're not showing anybody else?" We had an open invitation.
The very beginning of the race, I think that we were talking about, when the writ was dropped, we had an open invitation for anyone who was running to contact us. Those who didn't contact, I don't want to hear any crocodile tears. It's too friggin' bad.
Yeah. Okay, 9 and 10.
Harkirat Singh, he's the incumbent. I don't think anyone's going to unseat Harkirat. He's got a strong base there. It's like
he was a trustee there, and these last 4 years he's been accounting. 4 years or 8 years? I think it's 4 years. Right?
It's 4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, and he doesn't come with all the baggage that this councillor comes with.
Well, we know this councillor, Gurpreet Singh Dillon. He's the incumbent. He's also a sexual harasser. 74 nods has been basically running a campaign with all sorts of locations, the Gore Meadows, against Dillon supporters for that sexual harassment charges. It would be a shame if this person got in.
And there was some news today. The integrity commissioner, that Gurpreet Dillon was one of the votes that fired her, and she's now suing the city and specifically Gurpreet Dillon. And Dillon released a video last week saying there's nothing here, nothing.
Yeah. Well, we discussed that. We went through the points. His points are all like, it's a propaganda video that he likes to put out.
Well, the integrity commissioner actually came out and issued a statement countering all the stuff that he said.
Well, of course, we did too. The last week we told him.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay, and on time is Councillor Palleschi. So we went through all there. Let's get Councillor Palleschi on right now.
All right.
Press the right buttons. Here we go. Councillor Palleschi, pleasure to have you on the show today.
How's everybody?
Good, good. How was the door knocking tonight in the rain and wet and cold?
So clearly we don't have a good connection. Wherever Michael was when we did our technical test.
He's hooking up.
There we
again.
go.
There
Better.
we go. All right. So how's the door knocking tonight?
No. Let's go back to me and you. Oh, here we go. Are you there, Michael? Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear us? Reconnect.
Nothing. So what you do is just go reconnect. Yeah. Close it. Reboot. Yeah.
I think he said he's going to come back. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
yeah, I think he unplugged his mic. The system we use, it's very finicky if you unplug your mic as you're connecting or plug it in as you're connecting. Anyways, so I did not lie. He's going to be on the show. He was on the show. So don't blame me if we can't get him back here.
Well, he's out canvassing tonight. There he is again. Let's try him.
Okay. Can you hear us now, Michael?
Loud and clear.
There you go. That's what we were trying to say. Reboot.
Right. I didn't get I should have phoned Rogers.
Yeah. You're on Rogers? Well, that's a first mistake.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Anyway,
hey, Rogers is a big economic player in this city. You guys be
Absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, not for us. So we can say whatever we want against Rogers. I'm on Bell. Anyway, so Michael, how's the canvassing out there? We wanted to talk to you about what are the main concerns for residents in wards 2-6.
Yeah, I think the main concerns are, what everybody's hearing right across the city. Traffic safety, street safety in general is a huge thing. Traffic congestion is massive, especially in the areas that I represent across the top end, where there isn't that two-way all day go. We know that that's a game changer, especially for the top end of Brampton. If we had two-way all day go coming out of Mount Pleasant, all this congestion on Sandalwood. I talked to a number of residents that commute every day downtown Toronto, and they all say the same thing. If there was two-way all day go, why would I drive across Sandalwood onto the 410 and sit in traffic when I could jump on a train every 15 minutes?
Well, we've been waiting for that. We've been promised that for how many years now? 12 years, basically. It's been, we're at least going on 8 years that we're promising that. Plus, we were supposed to get a dedicated all-day two-way go from the Brampton GO station on weekends. So,
yeah,
so
the
weekend.
It was promised to us for 2025. Last term, I had Stephen Del Duca at AMO promised that we would have it by 2024. And I have to say, I fingers crossed that the Conservative government still has that as a plan. They are twinning tracks. I don't think that they're moving fast enough, but it's a conversation that we still need to have.
Yeah, I remember in 2014, those conversations were about building a second track, a bypass track from to the Brampton GO station so they could have two-way all day. But that still hasn't happened. We don't, that track is owned by CN, and the bypass on that, there's no plans on that.
Yes, that's right.
So let me ask you something. I know that Faz wants to talk about the LRT, but I'll get to that in a minute. You talked about congestion up in your area. Heritage Heights, what's going on with that? Because that's going to add more development as well up in that area.
Yeah, so build out is 143,000 people. So that's a lot of new people coming to the west end of Brampton. Heritage Heights has gone through the secondary plan. It has been appealed by a number of landowners, and I think that's with respect to the plan and the amount of streets that go over that CN rail line. It's very difficult to plan areas that have streets that go over railroad tracks. So it makes it a little bit difficult. They want a better understanding of what that means for them, and more importantly, the 413. Right, our plan is to have that boulevard concept, but the conservative government has been very clear that the 413 is coming.
Well, the 413 is still under the federal EA, so we'll have to see what goes on with that as well. But at the same time, that boulevard concept that you had was about 16 stops in between. And I know the Ministry of Transportation said that the city of Brampton they cannot change it's basically an Ontario highway. You can't put 16 stops in there. The Ontario government is basically the one that tells you what the speed limits are, and not the other way around.
Yes, that being said, before the 413 was even planning, the region was planning the Bram West Parkway, which we still have $90 million sitting in an account at the region to build the Bram West Parkway, which essentially is now being taken over by the 413. So we were planning for a route well before they were talking about the 413.
So let me talk to you about the congestion, because a lot of people complained years ago about widening. Well, they didn't complain. They wanted Williams Parkway. Basically, they wanted that widening. Now you're talking about putting a bike lane in there and actually making it more narrow. I know when I go across there's a school there. There's several schools right along that Williams Parkway and then you've got the Ford plant people that take Williams Parkway all the way out to the 410. That is massively jammed up for, I'd say, anywhere from 2 o'clock to almost 4:30 along that Williams Parkway right now. So you're still going to be putting a bike lane in there. How is that going to solve the problem?
Yeah, it's not. And I'm hearing loud and clear at the doors that people don't like the bike lanes. They don't understand the bike lanes and where they're positioned, especially when you're coming up to an intersection and it's a solid white line. For a lot of people, they know they're not allowed to cross a solid white line. So what do they do when they come up to this intersection to go to turn right? Are they turning right in the middle of an intersection, or are they crossing a solid white line? So I think the Williams Parkway one is one that we should this next council needs to relook and revisit the Williams Parkway. I said at the time, I will not expand Sandalwood Parkway if you do not expand Williams Parkway. All of those people that are using Williams Parkway to travel east and west, if I expand Sandalwood, they're all just going to come up to Sandalwood. Sandalwood is not a road you see in the heart of
Sandalwood is jammed anyway. Rush hour, it's jammed all the way over to the Highway 10.
Absolutely. And we know, but we do know that expanding Sandalwood is just going to bring more people, and it's going to be the exact same congestion. It doesn't do anything. It's like that. If you build it, they will come. If we expand it, they will come.
Okay,
right,
so
that segues into the LRT. So go ahead, Faz.
So, Michael, you were arch enemy number one in the minds of some people, back in 2015, because you had the deciding vote as to, do we get an LRT north of Steeles or don't we? And, I kind of set it up earlier. So maybe, and I'll add this to it because, I want a fulsome answer here. So you decided no. We want to know why. And if you had to make that decision today, what would that decision be?
Sure. I'll start by saying I don't think it's fair to say that I was the deciding factor. There was 10 other members of council. I'm the one that I just wanted to get all the information. And I think I was very clear at the time. And listen, a lot of people talked about the history of the downtown. I love the history of the downtown, but that had no bearings on my decision of what an LRT looked like in downtown Brampton. I love our downtown, but unfortunately, it is so compact, and we have owners of properties that are not into the redevelopment of the downtown to make it something a little bit more spectacular. Not to mention the fact that the number of cars that come through the east-west and north-south, putting 2 trains into that downtown just made an already compact downtown even smaller. I want our downtown to be lively. I want our downtown to be walkable. I don't want the LRT above ground coming into the downtown and just making it that much smaller. I want to have patios. I want to have wider walkways where people can walk through and enjoy. Like, I want to have a busker fest. I want so much for our downtown. Not the area councillor for the downtown, but I was born and raised here and I love our downtown. So today I still would continue to say no to the LRT above ground. And it really wasn't, we had talked about a below grade LRT at that time back in 2014 term, but it really wasn't a real opportunity until Patrick came and said to all of us, I can get this. I can do this. I can make it happen. And I went to Ottawa with Councillor Vicente, Councillor Santos, and Mayor Brown, and we were talking to a lot of people that were saying, yes, we can get that funding for you. We can do that. We were talking to the Prime Minister's office about, burying the LRT into downtown Brampton, and all we needed was the three-way relationship between the municipality, the province, and the federal government. So
let's talk about development of the downtown core. A lot of people have said that basically it's a stagnant. You're redoing work there. It's something that a lot of people in Brampton have never gone to the downtown core. You talk about people out in your 2-6 area. There's 9-10 at the same time. They've never been to the downtown core. If you ask them where the downtown is, they have no idea. But they do know Chinguacousy Park, and that Chinguacousy Park along Queen Street to Chinguacousy Park has been underdeveloped. I mean, for a long, long time. I remember Linda Jeffrey and even Susan Fennell talking about, developing and intensifying, densifying the Queen Street corridor. Is that something going forward that if you get back in, you're going to be looking at, or is that something that's on the table that's, maybe accelerating going forward?
Yeah, so I've already had the conversations with regional council and business owners all along Queen Street and along Steeles as well. The redevelopment opportunities, right now it's really handcuffed by regional policy, and we need to change that. Once we change that, I think that the redevelopment opportunities will definitely come, especially along Queen and along Steeles. So absolutely, there's huge benefit to that specific area, and also Steeles and Kennedy, all along Kennedy, but Steeles east and west from the 410 all the way to the west end where I represent west of Mavis.
So before we let you go, Michael, because we only had you for 10 minutes, 4 years from now, are you going to be able to tell us that we have a decision regarding funding to go under with the LRT?
I would say, Patrick has, Mayor Brown has delivered on a lot of the promises that he has made. And he made it very clear that he was going to work his butt off to get the funding for the LRT. I don't put it past anybody. If anybody can do it, he's the one that can do it.
All right. Okay. So
it's getting dark. It's getting dark. We can't see it anymore. So thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Michael. After the October 24th, we may have a time to hook up and talk to you about what to expect in the new council as well. We'd like to have you back if you get back in, that is.
Would love to.
All right. Thanks. Perfect. Thanks. All right. So there you have it.
Yeah, I'm still here. I didn't disappear either.
So there you have it.
That's the kind of conversations, I don't know if anybody knows, but like 8 years ago, you and I ran, Don. That's why we're kind of still connected with what's going on in the city.
Yeah.
You continued on for mayoral candidate. I dropped out as mayoral candidate and ran against Palleschi, and then I dropped out and then ran against whoever was city councilor. And then, as Karen was saying, I think I became a flip-flopper, and I just dropped out of the race altogether. So I was not really on good relations with Michael for a number of years. Not like he probably.
I don't think it was good relations. It was just a matter of basically, we're doing our thing. A lot of people take a look and see what we do and say, oh, they're too political and blah, 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 blah. Hey, listen, you know what? If you didn't have us and you didn't have a sounding board and you didn't have people that knew what was going on to the city of Brampton and actually commenting on a regular basis, who knew what was going on behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, then you'd be further in the dark than you have now. One of the things and one of the reasons why we started this was to shine light on council decisions that were never shone before. Peter Sisconi, who was a reporter for the Brampton Guardian, he was very good at that. And I like Peter. Peter went to Niagara Region. I think he's working for the region of Niagara right now.
And he was fair too, right?
He was fair and he was concept. And that's one thing that, we try to be, because we're talking about, internal politics and what's going on. Can you be totally biased? Well, you tell me if the Sun is totally unbiased, or the Star or the Sun or the Globe and Mail, are they totally unbiased as well? Or CTV, CBC?
Everybody has biases.
Everybody has a bias. So you know what? We're trying to report it as best we can. That's why we ask for your comments on the side. We have no problem posting.
Well, and it's also why we do video, right? Because we're not journalists, we're not reporters, we don't claim to be a news organization. We want to bring the issues, and we want the decision makers here to talk. So I'm hoping,
and we have no problem calling out people that with stupid ideas as well, right? So,
and we hope that the decision makers can come and talk to us here and answer our questions. Why did you do X, Y, Z? Or why aren't you at, whatever it is, right? And so with Councillor Medeiros and Councillor Fortini, we had them on the show during a lot of this dispute. And then I think it got a little nasty.
But they didn't like the fact that we were calling them out on decisions. And it's like, if you're a public official and you're making a decision, part of your responsibility is to explain that decision. You cannot just make it, and you can't be like Martin Medeiros saying, we're supreme here. We can make any decision that we want, good or bad. No, you cannot. That is not democracy, and that's not how it works.
And that's where we call stuff out, right?
If you we call it out because you can't make that stupid comment. And we call out people like Gurpreet Dillon putting lies on social media about how he was never charged and this and that. Those are out and out lies. So if you're going to do that, we call you out. Why not, right?
So I'm hoping, the new council, we start fresh again with us as well, and we'd love to have them. And then who knows what's going to happen year 1, 2, 3, 4 if they're still talking to us or talking to each other. But our history in Brampton is, it starts off great and then it kind of goes sideways.
Anyway, so going this weekend, I did a video today. It's up on Be Now right now about an organization called Let's Get Together. They're basically on October 22nd, which is this Saturday at Cyril Clark Library. In Loafers Lake, they're collecting reusable, recycled e-waste. Could be computers, old phones. What they do is they take them, they will refurbish them, and then send them to families that need them, sort of thing. Families, kids, especially kids going back to school if they need a computer, and so on and so forth. It's for a good cause. So if you have, a TV or computer, a laptop, something that you're not using and you want to get rid of it, don't throw it in the garbage. Go to Cyril Clark and then give it to them, and they'll refurbish it. Okay, that's going on this weekend.
I'm not Don Cherry. I am not Don Cherry.
The other thing is this Thursday, October 20th at 6:30, we're going to be talking to Alan Thompson. He's the outgoing mayor for Caledon. He's got a lot of points that we want to bring up. I'm sure he won't pull any punches because you know what? He's retiring, so we can maybe get him to spill his guts. This is
the best time to get a politician.
Oh yeah, this is the best time.
I'd love to get Jeff Bowman on here, but I think Jeff Bowman's like gone. He's gone, right?
Yeah. Doug Willens is growing fruit in the backyard. So you know what? We're gonna have Alan Thompson on. We always like talking to Alan because he's straight up. He basically calls it the way he sees it. So that'll be a fun show. That's going to be this Thursday. We're not waiting because next week is election week on the 24th, so that's going to be busy, and Diwali's coming up.
And we're not having a show next week, so Thursday's show is going to replace what we had next week.
Absolutely. So, join us for, if you got any questions for Alan Thompson or you got any comments, no problem. 6:30.
And I'm hoping he's going to endorse somebody, a candidate for mayor.
I did talk to him, and he is going to endorse a candidate. We're going to talk about Bonnie's idea of splitting up Peel again, where he sees that. We'll talk about the 413. There's a whole bunch of different things that we will be talking to Alan about. So
maybe we'll reserve. Well, so we're also going to show some of the videos of the candidates who contacted us, like Mike Dancy as well. So we'll show those as well. So maybe we'll have the whole half an hour with Mayor Thompson, but then split it up a little bit with intermission breaks with candidates.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, we can have highlights. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. We got 18 seconds to go before it's 30 minutes done. We got to wrap it up. We got to wrap it up.
That's fine. We're going to wrap it up. We'll see you on Thursday at 6:30 with Alan Thompson. Thanks for joining us.